Hi. So today's topic is learning AI through AI. Like I will use ChatGPT and let us try to learn about artificial intelligence and some of the latest models like LLMs and also the current uh, video generators and image generators, audio generators, or in general the artificial intelligence basics using artificial intelligence tools like ChatGPT. Let's start querying ChatGPT. I have taken a new chat in the ChatGPT. Be my AI tutor and teach me about artificial intelligence from basics to advanced tasks. Yeah, I will be asking about please give me schedule for next 40 days and each day should cover one topic and assessment of that topic. It has given some 40 days schedule. As you are seeing, like in the first day it is giving AI history types applications, and second day basics of machine learning, third day supervised learning.
Set to make this tutorial different, like how I'll show how we may approach these 10 days differently and try to get maximum benefit from the ChatGPT basic free account. Just try to do that.
Give me info. Give me info. And we will start from day one. Yeah, what is artificial intelligence? Core definition is the simulation of human intelligence by machines, enabling them to perform tasks such as learning, reasoning, problem solving, perception, language understanding. Why AI matters today: automates repetitive tasks, solves complex problems, powers innovations like self-driving cars, recommendation systems. Okay, it has given some basics of artificial intelligence. Examples of AI in daily life: Google search, autocomplete, email spam filters, voice assistants, recommendation systems, automation, vehicles. Can you demonstrate these using basic HTML5 and simple animations in HTML. What I am doing is I am creating a HTML file in the browser. So this is a concepts demo, and it has given basic definition of artificial intelligence. So here it is showing as Google search and voice assistants, and also email spam or safe simple animation. Generally in this type of topics we may not be see real help using the HTML animations, but when we try to cover different topics in the basics of machine learning, let's see in the day to basics of machine learning and try to dig using the HTML. Will it be helpful if we are trying to cover the topics like basics of machine learning or any other topics? Let us see here. AI is the broadest field, and machine learning is the subset of AI focused on learning from data. And deep learning is subset of machine learning using neural networks for complex tasks. And ask it to create a flowchart like definition for this process. So first we will collect the data, and here example historical housing prices, pre-processed data like clean data, handle missing values and normalization. Train data, model learns relationship between the input and output. Evaluation, test the performance on unseen data and predict. Use the untrained data to make predictions. This is visual flowchart showing the key steps in the machine learning process. So like I am using simple HTML files so that when I am trying to learn some details from the ChatGPT itself, so it will give basic flowcharts or animations which we directly cannot get from the ChatGPT free models. Like even though if we get some of the things from the free model, but once the limit is done we cannot do this, but it can give the basic animations using the free model when we try to ask it for creating HTML files. It is one of the tricks I am using recently. I will try to take one of the deeper topics which is not easily understandable. Here artificial intelligence is a larger scope, and also machine learning up till some stage we can easily understand, but deep learning is one of the topic which cannot be easily understandable. So let us try to take the deep learning topic. So here it is input layer, hidden layer, hidden layer 2, and the output layer. basic of the AI models is linear regression. So what we will do is we will try to learn linear regression with code and interactive visual examples. So we will see how well it will be trying to give the visual representation of the linear regression. Linear regression is a supervised learning algorithm used to predict the continuous output from one or more input features by fitting the best straight line through the data. Like house size in SFT and house price in $1,000. So it is continuous and the output is also continuous. So mean square error, why it is useful, simple and powerful for predicting continuous values. Component and description: input X, feature data, target value, weight, how much X influences Y, bias, fixed offset, loss function, measures prediction error, gradient descent, optimizes weight and bias. Yes, please give this in the animation form. What is it trying to calculate? So what we will ask is like create a JSON file where we can try to load that to the HTML. In the JSON file we should be able to view the input or training or what are the step is there in supervised learning. So in the given example it is trying to like predict the house price. What is linear regression? So linear regression is a supervised learning algorithm that predicts a continuous output from one or more input features. Supervised learning training model using labeled data. Formula: X is equal to weight into X plus bias. Goal: find best weight and bias to minimize prediction error. So here what we are trying to do is the goal is to get the best weights and bias to minimize the prediction error. Here Y is the output and from one or more input features X, and this is the formula. Let us go to formulas here. So predict the output from the input feature. X is equal to weight into X, which is features plus bias. Measure prediction error. I did not get this formula. Let us ask that in detail. Will it try to explain me or not? Please explain this formula. Measure prediction error. So it is y is value by model for an input x. If x is equal to 5, model y prediction is equal to 12. Actual correction target value for the x. Example x, y actually is equal to 10. Okay, so the error should be here to square the error. Squaring avoids negative errors, cancelling out positive errors, and penalizes large errors more. Squaring avoids negative errors, cancelling out positive errors, and penalizes large errors more. I did not get this. So sum over all data points. Suppose we have 3 data points with errors 2, -1, 3, then the squares will be 4, 1, 9. Okay, average over all points. Okay, due to meaning of MSC, lower MSC, so predictions are close to actual values, good model. Higher MSC, predictions are far from actual values, bad model. Y squared error penalizes large mistakes more, keeps the loss function smooth and differentiable, ideal for gradient descent optimization. So copy this. So here squaring avoids negative errors, cancelling out positive errors, and penalizes large errors. I got penalizes large errors means the difference will be large. So we will know whether the error is large or small, so that it is a good model or bad model. But squaring avoids negative errors, cancelling out positive errors. Let us ask whether it is correct or not. Please give detailed explanation about this. Example 1, the actual is +2. So in the second the error is -1, and third one it is also -1. Mean error. Even though there are mistakes, this happens because past and negative errors cancel each other out. By squaring solve this. By squaring the terms, we ensure that all errors are positive, no cancellation. Okay, so I did not get that right in the first. So squaring avoids negative errors cancelling. Okay, I got that. So if there are like +2, 2 and -1 and -1, so here if we try to only add that, it will cancel out all the errors and show we don't have any error. So in this case it is squaring and trying to get all the errors in the positive numbers so that it will give the actual errors. Intuitive analogy, thinking of balancing weights on a scale, errors as weights. Positive and negative cancel out, no sense of total weight. Squaring actually like makes the also weight possible, and we see the total error weight. Okay, I like this. It is also differentiable, it seems, making it easy for gradient descent to optimize. I don't know what is gradient descent. Let us try to ask it. So I have some issue here, right? I did not get that right at the first point itself when I asked ChatGPT. So these type of things you can just try to copy to your notepad, or let us ask is about what is gradient descent. What is gradient descent? Explain in detail. Here a detailed and easy to understand explanation of gradient descent structure step by step. Gradient descent is an optimization algorithm used to minimize the loss function by intuitively adjusting the model parameters. It is an optimization algorithm used to minimize the loss function. Example, MSC by iteratively adjusting the model parameters like weight and bias. Intuitive idea. Imagine you are standing somewhere on a hilly terrain and your goal is to reach the lowest point and minimum of the loss function. You don't know where the lowest point is, so you look around and take the small step downhill. Each step is guided by the steepness gradient at your current location. Keep stepping until you reach the bottom minimum loss. Calculate the gradient slope of the loss function with respect to the parameters. Loss. Okay, update parameters by moving in the opposite direction of the gradient. That is the slope, I think. New weight, new bias, old weight minus learning rate into weight gradient, old bias minus learning rate into bias gradient. Y opposite direction gradient points is the direction of steepest descent of the loss function. To minimize loss, we must go in the opposite direction descent. Example calculation. Current weight, current bias, learning rate at steep with respect to weight, with respect to bias, it is 10 and 2. So new weight and new bias. Visual intuition. Step 1 weight bias loss. Step 2 04 bias 100. 380. Okay, the loss reduces gradually as the model runs. Why is learning rate important? Learning rate too large or shoots minimum. Learning rate too small takes forever to converge. May never converges slowly. Typically the values like 0.012 are good starting points. Summary gradient slope of the loss function with respect to a parameter. Learning rate, step size of each update, iteration 1 update of the weight and bias, convergence where loss stops changing significantly. Gradient descent. Okay. Let us do this topic. So sometimes when we try to copy the formulas, it might be a good day. Some snipping tools and try to copy the formulas here instead of just copying, because the format might be different, which we cannot get directly in the docs. These are my intuitions, like how we can use ChatGPT to learn new topics. Like if you have a free account, you can the if you ask it to create a diagram to explain anything, so it will be little hard, because the limit will be automatically easily exceeded, so it will be very hard. So in that case, you can ask it to create HTML animations. So ask it to explain the concept to you. So if you don't get anything, so instead of trying to search in Google or something in these kind of topics, you can directly ask it directly and try to get some meaning out of that. So if you actually did not get that right from the ChatGPT itself, in that case, so you can see in alternatives what do you have, where we can try to get the actual meaning, like can it try to give a deeper animation. In the next video I will try to get the deeper animation for this like artificial intelligence topics, like deep learning, or in the present topic like gradient descent. So because these are hard to get directly from the ChatGPT chat itself. So these type of complex topics, how it can try to create animation. So if the initial animation is not uh, clear, can it try to create a complex animation using the repetitive queries to the ChatGPT? In the next video I will try to check that. I also don't know about these topics in detail. What uh, I'm trying to get this from this video is like in the live itself I am trying to get uh, details about the artificial intelligence basics, so that it can be one of the medium in these days to get info regarding any topic. So, can we use that for complex topics like intelligence itself, like using artificial intelligence to learn the artificial intelligence? It can be seem to be ironical, but I think this is the process or the easy way we can use ChatGPT or any modern LLMs to learn the complex topics like artificial intelligence. Thank you. Yeah, and also this is my new channel and this is my first video in this channel. Please subscribe if you like the video.